Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in and what time it is on this final day of winter in the Northern Hemisphere. This is Soul Level Astrologer Mark Borax coming to you with the Cosmic Weather Report live for Wednesday, March 19th, Year of the Snake, in which I'm going to talk about the evolutionary dance of Saturn and Neptune. Saturn and Neptune are in a conjunction with each other. That's not exact, but it's close enough. And it's going to maintain its aspect until May of 2026, which is about 14 months or so, more than a year. So we're going to be in this energy for quite a while now. It's kind of a main energy signature of the year of the snake and the just the times that we're living in. And so an interesting thing about this pairing up of Saturn and Neptune is it begins in Pisces and then shifts into Aries and then backs up into Pisces and then goes forward into Aries. So it's kind of this tag team passing the torch shakeup of the human race. And if there is any species on planet Earth right now that is in need of a shakeup, I would say it's humanity. What this pairing up is really drawing forth is the need to remember who you are and what you're doing, why you came here. What is your truth? What is your true nature? What are you all about? And one of the strange paradoxes of our current time is that the more that external factors get shaken up, the more that institutions get shaken up, the more that old things that we used to trust fall apart. There's really less and less and less of any other factors remaining besides you claiming the life of the soul, the whole reason you were born. This is the province of Saturn. Saturn is the planet that reminds you of why you chose to reincarnate. In Rudolf Steiner's cosmology, he says that in between lives, after you died in your previous life, but before you were born in your current body, you went through a series of planetary sit-downs, communions with planets. And when you made it as far out as Saturn, you were able to see how your most recent lifetime fits in with your entire scope of lives that your soul has been destined to live throughout the ages. You get to see how that one life is but a chapter in a much greater book. And when you see that, it's the time where you make a few key resolutions, prenatal resolutions, as to why you would come back again. And Saturn says, got it. And then you begin the gradual process toward reincarnation. Throughout your life, when you adhere to those prenatal vows that you made, Saturn does everything in its power to help drop all the obstacles, to drop the drawbridge, to facilitate your development, because the things you're doing with your life are in alignment with why you said you even wanted to come back. And then when the things that you're doing with your life are not in accord with your prenatal vows, Saturn does everything in its power to put up roadblocks to keep you from going in those directions, not because Saturn is the bad guy or the great patriarchal Jehovah who's going to punish you for having fun, but because you're not doing what you said you wanted to do. You're not fulfilling the reasons that your soul made for wanting to come back. That's how Saturn functions. Neptune is a whole nother kettle of fish, because Neptune rules altered states. Neptune is the door between dimensions. Neptune presides over the shamanic experience, medicine journeys, deep inspiration, and deep delusion. And there's a lot of delusion going around world consciousness these days. Human beings are really twisted. Animals have a much cleaner conscience for the most part than human beings. And young human beings have a much clearer consciousness for the most part than adults. So children and animals are really good way showers at such a time when delusion is rampant and the species is really twisted. So when Saturn meets Neptune, the planet that holds your prenatal resolutions meets the planet of altered states, and everything that stretches boundaries. Boundaries are stretching. Humanity is on a wild acid trip or ayahuasca journey right now. Things we used to count on, things we used to depend on. Just like when you drop acid, it's all wavery. It's all shifty. Everything is vibrating with this Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And starting in Pisces, it's stirring up a lot of deep shakeup. Pisces is deep karma, deep ancestry, the leftover tasks of your soul from previous lives, the unhealed wounds, the uninhabited classrooms of your human nature. The vacancies are getting flooded, and there's a lot of tendency to freak out. Neptune in Pisces is really amplifying the your ability to swim through existence, to swim through your life, even at a time of such shakeup, or maybe I should say, especially at a time of such shakeup. You can still glide through those jet streams, those magical pathways that things like ayahuasca and medicine journeys tend to open up and reveal. But it takes quite a bit of shadow work, which is also getting amplified and is also connected with medicine journeys. The blind spots you have, the places where your understanding of yourself is overly manipulated and conditioned by your need to fit in to a broken world. The places where you might have gotten shaped by artificial constructs from your family, from your past lives, from your peers, from your would-be guardians, from the bogus and false leadership we sometimes get from priests and rabbis, and we always get from newscasters and mainstream media, which has become totally corrupt, completely untrustworthy. And so as all these things are shifting, there's also a healing that's available here that occurs when you recognize the stories that are getting shaken up. Maybe you don't need them anymore. Maybe you're not the person you always thought you were. Maybe you don't need to be the person you thought you needed to be. Maybe there's something in the stories and the guises that you've been caught in, that like a snake needs to shed its skin, because we're in the year of the snake. as the conjunction moves out of Pisces into Aries, and then back into Pisces, and then back into Aries in the coming months, there's a real lot of shakeup, because Aries is a very linear and impatient kind of a sign, and wanting to get things to move, wanting you to get with your purpose, to get super clear. This is who I am. That's not who I am. Aries really has a lot of either or energy, much different than the oceanic energy of Pisces, which is very swirly and non-linear. So we're going from swirly to linear to swirly to linear, with a lot of altered states, inspiration, cosmic forces, illusions. And the upshot of this during the next year plus 2 months, that Saturn and Neptune are going to be conjoining each other, is that you stand strong for what you truly believe in, regardless of what people around you are doing. This is not necessarily an easy thing to do nowadays, because politically, many countries, including my country, the United States, have become drastically polarized, with anybody on one side almost incapable of imagining that anybody on the other side could have anything worthwhile to say. And it's a very dangerous state, because the Democrats are convinced that the Republicans are Nazis and are insane and need to be locked up, and the Republicans are really pissed off at the Democrats' wishy-washy inability to actually really stand for anything. And when you're in a situation where not just that you're in an opposition, but where you can't even begin to imagine that the people on the other side of the fence could have anything whatsoever good, decent, worthwhile, sacred, that's an incredibly dysfunctional state that has no sustainability. You cannot go on that way. And so because of that, it can be hard to truly stand strong for what you believe in, regardless of what everyone else around you is doing, because probably most of the people around you are seeing things the way that you are. And it can take a recognition that maybe the people that are in your group are not seeing the full truth of the people in the other group. And maybe you are. Maybe you're starting to see something in the opposite camp that's actually worthwhile and true and good and strong and necessary. Maybe you're even seeing something in the opposite camp that seems more true than what your side is seeing. And then what are you going to do? Are you going to stand fast in your truth and speak it up and risk alienation, risk being the one who's tarred and feathered and made fun of, as often happens to me with my strange political iconoclasm, where I see things both very strongly from the Democrat side and from the Republican side. And I see the flaws and the lies and the delusions in the Democrats, and I see the flaws and the lies and the illusions in the Republicans. And so if this is a time where this shakeup of Neptune and Saturn moving from Pisces to Aries to Pisces to Aries is asking you to stand strong in your truth, and if the people all around you don't want to hear your truth and are going to scapegoat you for doing it, then you're going to go through a crisis. You're either going to have to muzzle yourself and hold your truth back because you don't want to alienate yourself from the people who seem to be your people, or you're going to speak out like I often do and get just totally smeared and tarred and feathered and become a walking target for their disowned shadow, the darkness that they're not facing. So here we are on the verge of equinox. We only have, what do we got, about 13 hours or so, 14 something before the sun enters Aries, which creates the spring equinox. And we're at the beginning of a 14-month period of this powerful Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which asks you to dig down deep and nourish yourself from the roots of truth and strength. And because of especially the Piscean connection to your ancestors and the Aries connection to your past lives, to the individuals you used to be, you're being asked to take the best of your past lives and the best of your ancestors and draw those up into your body in an alchemical combustion and release the illusions and the bigotries and the biases of your ancestors, your current family, and your past life. It looks like we have a question from Barbara Wiss. The question is, as I recall, the last Saturn-Neptune conjunction was in Capricorn in 1989. She asks, what, if anything, does the movement from Capricorn to Pisces Aries indicate about where we are in terms of challenges and issues to deal with? So, yeah, that movement from Saturn and Neptune in Capricorn, which I think was right around the time of the falling of the Berlin Wall, the dropping of a big barrier between East and West, into the Pisces and Aries. One way that I see that transformation is Capricorn is power and government, strategies, politics. And it makes sense that the Berlin Wall came down around that time. And so the Saturn-Neptune conjunction of 30 odd years ago had a lot more to do with politics and the use of power. Whereas the Pisces Aries version, it's much more about mystic initiation. It's not so connected to politics as it's connected to, can you claim the full magical energy of your beingness? You're a magical being as well as a physical being. It's very easy to forget the magical part at a time when the physical world of politics and survival is really crazy and freaking out. But if you can use the pressure as an initiation to realize, look, who knows how long our political parties are going to remain polarized? Who knows how long the war machine is still going to be ruling the world government and especially the US government? Who knows how long Earth is going to continue? Who knows how long humanity is going to continue? Who knows how long you're going to be alive? However, none of that matters because you have very little say over any of that, but you have ultimate say over who are you going to be? Who are you? Who is the you that you are? What is the I in you? Where is the I am? when you stand your mystical ground amidst Neptune's cyclones and you claim your truth of love, where is your love? What kind of music do you love? Listen to that music when everyone's freaking out. What kind of food does your body love? Follow that nourishment. Who do you love? Who do you want to be with? Who do you need to merge with and combine with in a Neptunian way that honors your prenatal vows in a Saturnian way? So that's my breakdown as a mystic initiation this time. Not quite as much as the Capricornian version of it in the 1980s. This is the time when, if you claim your mystic identity, your mythopoetic nature, that your soul has been building, because this isn't the first time around for your soul. It is the first time around for your body and your name. It is not the first time around for your soul. So every life is a combination of something old and something new. What's old is your core nature, your soul. That's been in many, many, many lives before. What's new is your human nature and your body and all the things that go along with it, your ancestry. A lot of invisible paths forward open up when you pass through this initiation. I want to let people know I'm coming to Boulder and Denver, Colorado next month in April. You can find out about that by going to my website or emailing me, which you could find out from my website, markborax.com, where offering a new 3-year chart study program where I teach people around the world via internet how to read charts the magical way I do. It's beginning in September. And in May, we're having an introduction to that class just next month. If you're interested in that, check the website. You can sign up. You can let us know. Still offering readings, as I always do. And that's what I can think of for now. This has been Soul Level Astrologer Mark Borax with the Cosmic Weather Report live for Wednesday, March 19th, the final day of winter in the Northern Hemisphere, spring 2025 through spring 2026, the evolutionary dance of Saturn and Neptune. And until we meet again, may your karma turn to grace.